Against necropolitics. Second, anthropological zombie or anthropology as zombie existence. Okay, this is the summary I presented in Taipei, but now is omitted. And in this time, I will talk about zombie, from medical anthropological perspectives. But anyway, before my presentation, I should explain you the meaning of my title, Against Necropolitics, and contents of necropolitics. Okay, so necropolitics refer to a political system that forces the dead to remain silent. So medical anthropology in the context against necropolitics is an academic endeavor that breaks the silence of the dead and listen to their voices through your own fieldwork. Okay, so this is a scheme of my worldview when medical anthropologists conducted fieldwork in one's own field. Okay, so naturally, we investigate of the surface of the living world, but beneath the world, there may be possible exist underworld of the world of the dead. That is, we can treat about the necropolitical world. So I explained the necrology in situ. In situ is certain local places. And ontological world is a kind of the relationship between the agent, including field researchers. So we conducted all the on the earthly world, anthropology in situ, and world. We explain the world of the living, and also we are conducting field work in world of living. That is my schemes. Okay, so back to about zombie. We will talk about the necropolitics of zombie. Okay, Zora Neale Hurston, who had witnessed zombie. Zora Neale Hurston conducted fieldwork in Jamaica and Haiti from 1936 to 37 with support from Guggenheim Foundation. The result was Tell My Horse, Voodoo and Life in Haiti and Jamaica, Japanese title, Gods of Voodoo, published the following year. Within the book is a photograph capturing the remains or a shell of the person who was once Felicia Felix-Mentor. The photograph of the zombie taken by author in the courtyard of the Gonaïves Hospital shows a figure standing rigidly, gazing directly at the camera while wearing a hospital patient gown. Hurston writes with dismayed that standing before the zombie, she had no word to say to her. It could gain nothing but by looking at, could not bear to gaze upon the figure that living corpse for long. So that is, the woman. The local people think about zombie. I think that is one only photograph as we can witness that Zora Neale Hurston had taken. So you can understand, you can look everywhere in the zombie images in any kind of medias, no? So when you pick up at the Google's, it is restricted images, and to after the informed consent, we can see the images of zombie. But this is the makeup of the zombie walk Paris. That is a kind of costumes, no, or a costume kind of the costume parade, no. So, and the center, zombie as a sugar cane field, but in Wikipedia uploaded 2021. So that is a decent images as zombie, but it's very similar to the images of Felicia Felix-Mentor, no, and taken winter 1936, no, okay. So I divided the zombie images or zombie itself into two categories. One is a zombie externus, another is a zombie internus. No, okay. So the zombie externus of the extra images of the surface images or images in general. No. Okay. So we very many anthropologists analyzes zombie. What kind of zombie is, no? So zombie, one is a zombie as agent models, and one is most representative study is I'll show you the Sarah Juliette Lauro's and paper by Sarah Juliette Lauro and Karen Embry, no, Zombie Manifest, Non-Human Condition in Era of subtitle as an Advanced Capitalism, presented at the magazine Boundary 2 of these informations. No, so influenced by Dana Haraway, a cyborg manifest, antithesis to the perfect natural body and subject. It advocated for prosthetics and fusion with machine, the affirmation of monstrous existence and the plasticity of identity. In response, cyborg manifest also seek to establish the theory of the post-humanism in opposition to global capitalism. They critique, so the Lauro and Embry, they critique previous form of the post-humanism, arguing that zombie ontology necessitates of the death of the subject and implies a shift from ontology to habitation. I felt that the arguments cited pertained more than death of the subject in postmodernism than post-humanism itself. Okay, So my comment is also highly abstruse. It is isn't this text replete with rhetoric that seeks to cast the dead subject, zombie proletariat, which aims from the end of the capitalism, as the immortal subject that the liberation through paradoxical turn of the phrase, a Trotskyist theory of the zombies of the permanent revolution. Okay, so the while zombie belief proliferated within the media imagination, we never encountered real zombie, just as Zora Neale Hurston. As seen, Karen McCarthy Brown, Mama Loa, voodoo belief, including phenomena such as possession, is a vibrant religious experience for living people, not an exotic object of fear. So that is a problematics of the zombie as an agent models. So another images of zombie also represented by the fear of infection. That is images of fear infection. The right hand is COVID, SARS virus COVID-19. Okay. The first characteristic of zombie ontologies, there is a strong connection between the resurrection portion and the soil of the graveyard. People feel aversion towards such contaminated soil. However, there is a sense of the hopelessness that while the infections phenomenon can be prevented to some extent, it cannot be completely stopped. The fear of infection drags people into fear of the universal sameness with others, the transformation into single victim, patient, and into the fatalism. Their people lose their identities, internal consistency, rooted in the individual histories, and they are universally unified under the identity of the zombie patient. So the zombie identity. The body politics of zombie. Second future of the zombie ontology. The fear of the zombification manifests itself in the possibility of communication between two parties, as Hurston's experiences when she encountered with a woman known as Felicia Mentor. The second feature of ontology is that it is body suspended in limbo, where it is unclear whether she is alive or dead. So there is images of the body contaminated as zombie, as victim. No, so this is a replica of the tiger cage used the South Vietnamese army to torture Vietcong prisoners during the Vietnam War. No, okay. So this is a real, artist, Haitian artist, explain the images of the Loa Dambara, the snake of the, that kind of the, soul are haunted in the certain bodies. Okay, so it is very popular. The movies of the Night of the Living Dead of the representative the media zombies. No, so Lauro and Embry skillfully characterize this is irreconcilable tension between the victim of global capitalism and the theoretical schools of post-humanism. Okay, so we can investigate it of the gender differences against zombie something, the zombie pre-victims. No, okay. So the zombie cities. So the zombie cult or zombie belief coming from the West Africa, including with slave trade of the trade, the slaves through trade were traded. No, okay. So the historical context of a real zombie is this is a sugar mill in Haiti. From the U.S. Marine Corps occupation, 1965-15 to 34 onward, through the rampant dictatorship, poverty and violence, and homophobic panic during the AIDS pandemic of the 1980s, and the very vilification of the immigrants in the recent U.S. presidential elections, Haiti was remained a repository post-colonial representation of negation. No, this is we can see the body corpse, dead Haitians and white U.S. Marines. It is very living white Marines. It's very constructed. No, okay. So outside the zombie, outside the Haiti, zombies are thriving in zombie studies, which can be described as a rich virtual imagination of the peaceful society. We must never forget the striking contrast between misfortune of the price of zombie and strange euphoria of the price of transplantations, nor our research for the resolution to this dissonance. So zombie in and out. Okay, we still, remind of the kind of structural racism during the president campaign in the last time. No, so we can see that Trump criticizes of the immigrant Haitians of to eat and pet dog and cat. No, so this is a hocus pocus of his, on his own rhetoric, but that is a very important thing that is a rhetorical discourses represent of the Haitian immigrant positions in situ in Ohio. Okay, so who are the zombies? Naturally, I think that we are zombies. No? So this is a concluding remarks, a summary and conclusion. There is a three-part divided. Taking my starting point, my encounter with photograph of a person who was once Felicia mentors, believed to have been taken by Zora Neale Hurston around 1936, and considered the only surviving photograph of the real life zombie. I examined the metaphor of infection as it relates to representation of zombie and the proliferation of zombies in contemporary society. So this is a photograph of a person who was once Felicia Felix-Mentor. The second, the repertory of the cultural anthropology of plurality and multiplications, covering 1. Zombie as agent model. 2. Identity of fear of the pressure of infection. Characteristics 3. Characteristic of zombie, corporeality. And 4th, a comparison between proliferating media zombies and real zombies. So, where's one's body and the differences? Summary and conclusion, last conclusion. The hidden title of this presentation, Zombie as We Anthropologists, invite not only the study of such zombies as object of cultural research, but also reflective examination of the political power structures within which we encounter the negative representation of Haitians and the facing that threat their survival. That is, zombie as a representation of the precariat and the multitude within global capitalism and warfare. So, communication with dead body. So the final, my kind of the testament of the recommendation for you to listeners of my testament is rethinking your research design. 1, remembering the dead lead us, the living, to reflect on our own lives. So the kind of the necropolitics. 2nd, don't be afraid to change your research style through self-reflection. So that means the anthropology in situ. 3rd, it is essential always to maintain an open-minded and engage in dialogue with other researchers regarding the new improved research models. So biopsychosocial, cultural, and spiritual world making. So we reminded of the first schemes of the necropolitics, or against the necropolitics. No. So the upper side of the biopsychosocial world. So including we should, the beneath of the world and the world, the spiritual world. No, we should incorporate it with our research themes. No, so that is the kind of the cycles of the karma of our research project. So this is a bibliography of in her or our memory of Felicia Mentor as Haitian zombie. Thank you very much of my listening my presentation.